On a bitterly cold evening, a silent cruelty unfolded. Two tiny kittens, barely a few weeks old, were discarded at the side of a damp, rusted garbage tank. Their bodies were cold and stiff, their once soft fur matted with rain and dirt. The world around them seemed indifferent, and the wind howled in harsh gusts, as if nature itself was turning its back on them. At first glance, anyone would have thought they were already gone, small, fragile bodies lying motionless on the wet ground. But then, a couple of passers-by, their faces shadowed with weariness from their own lives, noticed the faintest movement. It was barely a twitch, yet it was enough to spark something in them. A flicker of compassion they couldn't ignore. They approached cautiously, not daring to hope but unable to turn away. One knelt beside the kittens, their heart racing in disbelief. They reached out, gently brushing the cold, damp fur, half expecting it to be too late. But as they did, they saw the tiniest rise of a chest, barely noticeable, yet unmistakable. The kittens were still alive, barely clinging to life. Tears blurred their vision as they carefully scooped the fragile creatures into their hands, their hearts aching at the fragility of such innocence. The kittens were too weak to struggle, their bodies too worn by hunger, cold, and abandonment. But their eyes, their tiny, flickering eyes, showed a spark of life, an unspoken plea for help. Without a word, they rushed the kittens to their car, wrapping them in the warmth of their jackets, their hands shaking with urgency. Time was running out, but they weren't about to let these helpless souls slip away unnoticed. At home, they set to work, doing everything they could to warm the kittens, offering drops of milk, soothing their trembling bodies, and whispering words of reassurance. They used soft cloths, blankets, and every method they knew to revive the little lives. Slowly, the kittens began to respond. Their tiny eyes started to open, and though weak and disoriented, they seemed to recognize the hands that cared for them. Days passed, and with each passing hour, the kittens grew stronger. Their fragile bodies began to fill out, and the spark of life that had once been dim now glowed brighter with each breath. They weren't just surviving, they were thriving. If you liked the video, put like and subscribe to the channel, where you will find a lot of interesting things.